Hey, welcome to the six-part mini-series. We're getting to lesson one today. What we're going to be talking about is the foundation, the fundamental of why most diets fail and how you can actually win. And this mini-series is going to teach you how to win. So my advice would be work your way through all the videos. I know it's very tempting to look at one and then lose motivation, whatever. Watch all these videos because they are really, really going to help. I'm going to give you as much value as possible. And I actually cannot wait to see the results and hear how well you guys are doing from just taking the steps from all of these different lessons I'm going to give you over the course of this six-part mini-series. So first up, we're looking at breaking the cycle of diet frustration. Now, diets are frustrating as hell, aren't they? They always are. Whenever someone starts a diet, I don't know anyone that has really succeeded with a diet, because generally if they get good results and they go back to a normal way of eating, they kind of rebound, they go back to where they were. So there's never really a successful diet. What we need to explore is looking at a way of eating that you can do for the rest of your life, not a specific diet. Okay, that's something we need to look at. So we're going to have a look at the traditional approaches that leave you feeling a bit deflated, and we're going to look at a sustainable path that is actually going to work long term. So I'm guessing you might have done this before. Have you ever started a diet on a Monday and you fall off it by Friday? I've done this, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably struggled with this in the past, okay? Now, you're not alone. Loads and loads of people, if not everyone, has probably done this. And there's a cycle of enthusiasm that is followed by a cycle of disappointment. And that affects millions and millions of people who are trying to lose weight or build muscle or get fitter. So the frustrating pattern isn't a sign of weak willpower. Believe it or not, I think people feel that they're just weak willpower. It isn't the case. It's actually that the approach is flawed, and you need a different approach, because diets, you don't need to work your life around a diet. A diet needs to work around your life, because at the end of the day, if it's not going to work around your life, you ain't going to be able to sustain it for the long term. So we need to make it work for you. Now, the common mistakes that kind of doom most diets to failure from day one are they're over restrictive, is the first thing. So they drastically cut calories. This creates initial results. So people are like, oh, wow, this new diet. And you talk to your mate down the office and you're like, have you tried this new diet? I've lost a stone in a week. But what will happen then is going to trigger biological survival mechanisms. So basically, your body's going to be like, hold on, we ain't losing this weight this quick. I'm going to do everything I can to stop it. So it's not good. Your body fights back. It increases hunger. It increases cravings. And then it reduces the energy expenditure. So your metabolism slows down. That's the magic thing there. It slows it down, which we do not want. Okay, we want to have a nice, fast metabolism. So extreme calorie restriction ain't going to work, okay? It really ain't going to work long term. It might work short term, and I mean very short term. Long term, it is not, okay? Then we're looking at cutting out food groups. So again, popular diets would be get rid of carbs, low fat, these different diets that have been popular for decades and decades, if not centuries probably. Completely eliminating foods like carbs and fats are literally just going to give you nutritional imbalances. So it makes social events next to impossible. It makes enjoying food pretty damn impossible as well. And it also builds a really unhealthy relationship with food, in the fact that you feel foods are forbidden, and call them sins in certain slimming groups that you could say are out there, okay? Now, studies show that labeling foods off limits literally increases the cravings. It literally makes you want that food more. It's a weird psychological, human psychological behavior, isn't it? That when we're told we can't have something, or it's off limits, or it's forbidden, we want that thing. So again, don't cut out food groups, eliminate complete food groups, okay? And then doing too much cardio, it's another one that people do and fall for a lot. So relying solely on long cardio sessions without any strength training can really lead to a lot of muscle loss. What happens then is that you reduce your metabolism again. So you're slowing it down from over restricting calories. You're slowing it down from doing too much cardio, not building muscle. And it just gives you an increased injury risk as well. And to be honest, it's not the most enjoyable thing in the world, is it, going on a cross trainer for an hour every single night, 7 days a week, okay? So we want to kind of avoid these common mistakes that make most diets fail, make most kind of health and fitness journeys fail, to be quite honest. So here we have the inevitable failure equation. Okay, fancy equation. So we've got unsustainable practices first and foremost, daily misery, and then inevitable quitting. That's kind of how it works. So when your diet requires superhuman willpower, endless restrictions, you're fighting against basic human psychology and also biology. What's going to happen from there? The unsustainable practices, it's going to be miserable daily, right? Constant hunger, energy crashes, mood swings, social isolation. This just creates a quality of life that no one should want, or definitely shouldn't be able to maintain, because you shouldn't want that quality of life, okay? Life is there for living, enjoying, and we can do that and get great results. And luckily, that's what I'm going to teach you. And then inevitable quitting on top of that as well. So because of these things, the body and mind can only endure restriction for so long before biologically and psychologically as well, you are going to be kind of overpowered. You're going to overpower that. Even if you have the strongest willpower in the world, you will naturally overpower it. So you will quit, because that is not a good way to live your life. Unsustainable, miserable, nah, not for us. Okay, so we need to avoid those types of things. Now, the real solution to all of this is sustainability, flexibility, and a hell of a lot of accountability. Accountability, the big old word there. Now, sustainability, the first thing we're going to look at, a plan that you can actually maintain for months and years, not just for weeks. If we're going to do something, we're going to do it forever. All right, we're going to make it stick. We're going to make it last, because that is how you can get phenomenal results. Okay, this means moderate deficits. We're not going crazy and lowering the calories to ridiculously low levels. We're going to be flexible with food choices, and we're going to find an approach that's going to fit your lifestyle. Then we've got flexibility. So we need to have room for social events, because you know what? We want to have fun and enjoy life. Life is meant to be fun, guys. It's not meant to be the completely serious. Yes, there's serious elements, but we want to have fun as well. Okay, we want to enjoy our favorite foods. It's important, and we want to have a real life. So no foods are off limits. Okay, this is how we go. This is how we work it at Zenith Fit. No foods are off limits. You will learn balanced portion control and make mindful choices. And the big thing I talk about with clients is using this a bit more, using their rational and logical thought process around food, and not panicking, not stressing, and not just kind of going into, oh wow, I need everything, so I'm stressed. Okay, that's what we work on. And this is why I work on mindset as well. You can control your mindset, you can control your actions around food. And then accountability. So there's systems that keep you consistent when motivation inevitably fluctuates. Even if you're the most motivated person in the world, all right, your motivation will drop at some point. I don't care who you are, it drops at some point. Now, what happens then is that you need to ride that storm, because it does come back. If you're consistent and keep doing the right things, and it's going to take you to where you want to be, motivation does come back. Sometimes it comes back in a week, sometimes it takes 3 months. But it does. Okay, so it's going to drop off at some point. Then you need support to back that up and get you through those difficult moments, which will occur. Okay, then when you're well practiced enough with that, and you've lent on your support and you've used that, you can learn yourself how to actually be proactive going forward in motivating yourself when you need to. Now, this can include motivation, is included in tracking food, tracking and logging your food, community support, and like building habits as well as part of that process. So these are the solutions that we have. Now, if it feels impossible to keep up, it's the wrong plan. If it just feels unsustainable, it's the wrong plan. Sustainable weight loss should feel challenging, but it should also feel manageable. And this is the fine balance that we're trying to find here, okay? This is like learning any new skill. The right approach fits your real life and gradually becomes second nature. So to begin with, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, yeah? But if we can ingrain it, that's a word I use a lot in my programs, is ingrain these habits into your life, they become second nature. You don't even think about it. The example I use is that we all brush our teeth, or I'd like to think everyone watching this brushes their teeth, yeah? Now, we don't even think about that. It's autopilot, isn't it? It's automated. It's a habit that we just built, and it's ingrained in what you do. So that is something, again, we will look at kind of incorporating with your health and fitness, with your diet. We're just trying to get these habits and do them often enough that they eventually become seamless, like it is when you brush your teeth, all right? So we want to make it sustainable. If it's impossible to maintain, no good for you, okay? So here we have a little breakdown of the sustainable approach. So we got small steps are always going to make big results if you're consistent with them. Week number 1 and week number 2 is awareness around food. So simply tracking current habits without judgment. So it's understanding your baseline before making massive changes. This could be logging and tracking calories. It could be doing a food diary, whatever that is, okay? Week 3 and 4 are small adjustments. So introduce protein at each meal. So we need to have protein in our diet. It's important for building muscle tissue, keeping you feeling fuller. Adding 2 to 3 daily servings of vegetables as well. And reducing, but keywords, not eliminating obvious empty calories. All right, week 5 to 8, we're building consistency. So what we're doing here is we are establishing regular meal patterns, incorporating basic strength training, and developing strategies for social eating situations. So how can you cope when you go out for a meal? Because again, you're not going to go the rest of your life without going out for a meal. So we need to figure out a way that it's going to work for you. So there's a couple of different methods. I'll talk about it quickly right now. Okay, so you can go out, you can just not track, you can just have a great time, okay? But what I would say then is you want to control everything before and get right back on track after, okay? So you can just control it around it. You can, if you want to, look at the menu before you go and know exactly what you're having so it fits in with your calories. You can go to the meal and make good choices. So think, oh, is there enough protein on that plate? Are there plenty of vegetables on that plate? Is there a little bit of carbs on there? these are the methods we can use. You don't have to go out and just opt for a salad, okay? You can have great food and enjoy yourself when you're out. And in months 3 plus, so 12 weeks plus, you fine tune things, okay? So gradually adjust portion sizes, increase the physical activity. And what we can do here is something called reverse dieting. So you can actually eat more food and get in better shape, burn body fat, build muscle, look athletic, body recomposition. It's a wonderful thing. Okay, and that's kind of the method that you go through, the kind of the blueprint you go through in terms of your nutrition. Now, this gradual approach creates sustainable fat loss of 1 to 2 pounds a week easily, adding up to significant transformations over time. You build muscle doing it this way, you lose body fat, and it's not just about being thin and being skinny, it's about being athletic and being functional and moving well and feeling energetic and feeling fantastic. That's what this is about. And this is turning your life around. If you can get these nailed, and the great thing about health and fitness is if you can get it nailed, it really can turn your life around if you can build on this, okay? So the weight loss mindset shift initially. So traditional diet mentality is the all or nothing thinking, short-term results focus, rigid rules and restrictions, external motivation, so it's just about looking good, punish-based approach, so it's punishment, you're punishing yourself and you think food is a punishment, and you measure success only by the scale, okay? Now, the sustainable approach is more like this. Progress orientated thinking. So we want to just focus on the progress. How is that progress going in terms of your energy levels, how your clothes are fitting, and the scale might come into it as well as one of the things we will use, okay? Long-term lifestyle focus. So is this going to benefit you long-term? Are you going to have more energy? Is that person going to be able to eat good food, go out for meals and still look fantastic? And yes is the answer. Flexible guidelines and principles. So we're being flexible about our nutrition. Internal motivation. So it's about feeling good, having that energy, waking up in the morning with a spring in your step. You know, it's self-care. It's self-care at its utmost. It's self-care approach. So if you're into self-care, boom, this is for you. And then multiple success measures. So we're looking at energy, strength, habits, clothes fit, and we look at the scale as well in certain times. But that can fluctuate, which I'll cover in a different lesson, okay? Now, the key difference to these two mindset shifts here, one approach views weight loss as a temporary punishment to endure, while the other sees it as learning a new set of skills that is going to improve your life long-term and improve your life overall as well. So a quick takeaway from this, yeah, your diet litmus test right now. Can you genuinely imagine following this approach for the next year of your life? If the answer is no, then regardless of how promising the short-term results seem, you're setting yourself up for the familiar cycle of the progress and then the relapse. Okay, if you can see yourself doing it this way, this is the way to go about it. This is how I live my life, and I've been in, I'd say, decent shape for at least the last 25 years, you know, of my life. So it's worked for me wonders, and I feel great. My energy's through the roof. You can probably tell I'm buzzing doing these videos, yeah? The most effective diet is the one you can actually maintain long enough to reach your goals. And if then you can continue to maintain those results on top of that. So that's exactly what we're looking for here, guys. So coming next, in the next lesson, we're going to look at eating for fat loss without obsession. We're going to look at the Smart Eating Blueprint, which is something I came up with, okay? Now, in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to exactly even to structure your nutrition for steady fat loss without counting every calorie or giving up foods you love. So you're going to learn the simple plate method for automatic portion control, how to incorporate treats into your diet without derailing progress, easy meal prep strategies, and the 80-20 approach, which gives you freedom. And I love that approach, the 80-20, okay? Remember this, guys. Remember this, sustainable weight loss is not about perfection. It's about consistency with an approach that works with your real life, not against that life. Very important you remember that. So thank you for watching this. Any questions, fire away. Get into the chat, fire away. But otherwise, I'll see you in this next lesson.